Hi, and welcome to this training. So, my name is Frank Kern, and this presentation is all about the 12 psychological light switches that trigger buying emotions. And as you likely know, the training that you're about to see was recorded live for a very exclusive audience made up of my best customers who flew from around the world to attend this training. The only people who actually were invited to this training were people who had spent thousands upon thousands of dollars with my company, and they have flown in all the way from Brazil, from Germany, from Australia, from New Zealand, from South Africa, from South America, and of course from all over the United States. So in this training, you're going to see me deliver these 12 psychological light switches and explain how to use them. And before we proceed, and before I show you the training, I kind of want to give you a brief word of warning that there's a little bit of irreverent humor in here because most of the people in attendance, I had known them for years. They're very, very good, very loyal customers. And the second thing I want you to understand is due to the very close relationship I had with these customers, I'm not giving the usual disclaimers of, hey, listen, let's make sure that you're not using these methods for evil. Let's please make sure that what you're selling is very, very good. Sometimes I'm going to give very exaggerated examples of how to use these switches, mainly to illustrate the point and for entertainment purposes. So the reason I'm telling you this before I show you the actual presentation is I just don't want you to accidentally take anything out of context. What I'm sharing with you is meant to be used for good. Everything I teach you is assuming that you're genuinely helping your audience. And the fact is, if you're not, all of the marketing stuff that I'm going to show you will only hasten your demise. So please do good work. And with that said, let's get started. Here's the training. So, first thing I want to do, we got three things I want to teach you. And then I want to bring up hot seats to really close out. So we're going to close out with actually very hard work today. But this is going to really pay off for you a lot. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you these psychological light switches. All right. Man, I knew I had done that slide wrong. Well, forgive me, I used the wrong slide format, so it's a little square instead of the big rectangle, but I think you will survive it. Okay? So there are essentially what I like to think of as psychological light switches that you can flip on and off in the brain that will cause desire. There are three reasons people won't buy your stuff. They don't want it, number one. That's very, very dangerous. They don't believe you or they don't believe in themselves. So those are the three pillars of desire, all right? And these light switches are designed to manipulate switches within each pillar, all right? So here we go. The first one is called the magnet. This is the human's natural desire to gravitate towards something that we want. This is what my escape and arrival framework is built entirely upon. It works a lot like the way that, at least, I don't think scientifically this is true, but at least it feels like the closer you put a magnet to like the piece of metal, it seems like the magnet's even stronger. So if you take the magnet away, it's nothing. But if you put it like a millimeter from that piece of metal, it's pulling itself almost. This operates on the same principle. So the secret sauce for it is the escape and arrival framework, which how many of y'all remember escape and arrival from Info Business Blueprint? All right, this is good business, the escape and arrival. I learned it and used to think of it as results in advance. I learned it when I did the Annihilation Method launch with Neil Strauss back when I was making decisions the old way, which is how can I get lots of money without having to do a lot of work in the future. Proud of that launch, though. He really helped a lot of people. We did 1.4 million in 4 hours with this launch. I could not believe it. I had no idea what I was talking about in the advertising because he was talking about how to meet girls. And at that point, I had been terrible with women and was married to a woman that I would just about rather be shot by Andy's sniper round than stay another minute with. But somehow I'm still writing the emails behind this, and it worked. What happens here when you use escape and arrival is it creates what I call the sausage effect, which is, have you ever seen those little snacks for dogs? I don't even know if they make them anymore, but they look like little hot dogs, those sausages. Give one to the dog, and he was like, you can't get rid of the dog. You know, you're like, here you go, buddy. And you leave, and now the dog's like Velcroed to you because he wants another one of those damn sausages. So the sausage effect is an unbelievably powerful and profitable thing
to trigger, and it's also really cool because you're being really freaking cool to people. So it's a total win-win, which is awesome. So every campaign and promotion that I currently run and have run all the way back to when I discovered it by accident with Neil in 2005 or 2006 is built and predicated upon this concept. So the way Escape and Arrival works, and I'll be brief because I know you guys know it, is everyone wants to escape from bad, which is here, all right? And they want to arrive to good, which is over here. And between these 2 points, we got lots of stuff we got to do. So if you think about what Andy was saying, we got to get away from the shark. We've got to kill the Hare Krishna. I think they're actually very nice people, Hare Krishnas. I don't really know any, but they seem friendly, very enthusiastic, you know. And you have to kill the alligator, which my father actually did, kill an alligator back in the day. So anyway, if you can identify those things that the person must do, and you can identify the order in which you must do them, and you can help them do those things in advance of this asking for the sale, to answer the question about how do you separate yourself from the other boat owners, that is how. You can say, my boat's amazing. You can say, I'm a great captain. And you can say, like, oh, you want to have a party on a boat and you want to look cool in front of these girls over here? Dude, no problem. Here's exactly what, as a matter of fact, I'll just pick you up for a minute, and how about you just stand up here on the rail of the thing, and when they walk by, you wave to them. Well, if you're wanting to have a boat to impress women, and the captain lets you stand on the rail, and you wave to the girls, and they're like, oh, yay, and then they come up on the boat, now what do you got to do? You better rent the boat, or else you're going to look dumb, right? So you helped them get result number one, and now they want you to help them get the rest of the results, because it's the thank you, what next syndrome. So when you map all that stuff out and help them do it, you're good. Hang on, I'm going to do this quickly, just because I don't want your bladders to explode. So what you're looking for is a thank you, now what reaction. So when I did it with Neil, totally by accident, that's how long ago this was, we were doing teleconferences. We would email the list of people, and the first teleconference was, Neil was like, all right, fellas, on this teleconference, I'm going to teach you how to approach women, all right, which is code for walking up. Now think about how ridiculous this is. This is code for walking up and introducing yourself and starting a conversation. And to a lot of guys who are not Southern, apparently that is like terrifying, right? And so, okay, I mean, we've all got our stuff. So Neil's like, all right, dudes, here's like some things to do to overcome this fear, and here's what to do. And he teaches them, and he's like, 2 days from now, we're going to have another teleconference, and in that teleconference, I'm going to tell you what to say once you've opened the conversation. And I didn't think, I was pulling it out of my butt, you know. I mean, not the strategies. He taught the strategies. I wouldn't know what to say, but the format, I was like, all right, dude, what's the next thing they should do? Okay, let's teach them that on the telesummit. So we get on the next telesummit, and it's a lot of the same people on there, and they were freaking out because they had actually done it, so that's critical. We don't want to just tell them what to do. You want to help them actually go through. You really want to help them go from here to here, right? If you just tell them how to do it, that's great. But if you make that actionable for them, and you make it where they can actually take that step and they're here and now they're closer, you become more magnetic. So we get on the teleconference, and dudes are going freaking crazy because they had walked up and said hello, and the woman didn't run away. So they're like, hey, how's it going? She's like, pretty good, what's up? And he's like, can you stand here for 48 hours until I get on this next telesummit with Neil and he tells me what to say to you right now? And she's like, well, yeah, of course. I've been waiting for some schlubby dude my entire life. So of course I'll stand here for 48 hours. But it was it was unbelievable. So I was like, oh my God, dude, what? Okay, well, maybe, I guess that was pretty cool. I mean, Neil's very, very good at what he's a really good guy, by the way. That industry, I don't care for it. But he teaches a more, something you can be proud to do. It really teaches guys how to be more confident, how to be gentlemen instead of this stupid, wear a puffy hat thing or whatever. So anyway, it was interesting. And then so the next teleconference, he teaches them here's what to say and how to ask for the number. And by the time we're at to the launch, he's got guys who have successfully gone up to girls. The women have not stabbed them and called the police. They've had conversations with these women without soiling themselves or vomiting on themselves. And they've gotten the phone number, and now they're like give me everything because I got to know what to do. Because there's the piece of metal, I'm the magnet, and I'm this close, you're having to now pull me away from the magnet, right? So when you deploy that, it is extremely powerful. So desire and trust go up in direct proportion to direct proportion to the distance you take them from here to here, right? So the closer you take them to that magnet, the more desire they have and the more trust they have in you. Switch number 2 is self-confidence. Not in yourself, but to put it in them. Self-doubt is the killer of progress, right? If you weren't worried about whether you should charge $500 or $3,000 or whatever, and you had an offer out there and you'd already sold something to somebody, you'd be being like, dude, sell me that implementation boot camp. I'm ready to go, because you'd already have something, right? So I want to sell him this implementation boot camp thing because it's amazing, but you ain't created an offer, gotten any customers yet, so I'm never going to be able to do that. And you haven't gotten the offer and created the customers because you weirded yourself out, which is totally normal. We all do. I've done it with I'm like right here, guilty. I have put off investing in real estate for 10 years because I'm like, well, what if I lose money? What if I don't do it right? I mean, I'm not talking about like major stuff, like buying a $150,000 property or something, in Florida just to get a little bit of return on. Dude, I'll spend $350 on a car sight unseen. Like, humans are totally insane. So I'm no different. All right, but I will commit now publicly that I'm going to own multiple portfolios of multi-housing units within the next 12 months, for sure, because I've got tired of doing it. I've had to, get out of that mode, so it's normal. So here's the thing. Like I said, there's only 3 main reasons they won't buy from you. They don't want it. Number 1, that's bad, okay? But if you give them that results in advance, you're going to increase that desire. They don't believe your claims, which is usually not going to be true, right? If they're listening to you in the first place, and they're on your list, and they're watching a presentation, assuming that you're not just overly scummy or something, they are probably not thinking you're full of baloney. Otherwise, they wouldn't be watching. Unless, sometimes people listen to Howard Stern just because they hate Howard Stern. You might have that. But generally speaking, it's either they don't want it or they don't believe in themselves that they can actually get the results. Like, I believe P90X would make me look like the dudes in P90X. I just don't believe that I'm going to be doing all that god-awful exercise, right? I don't think they're lying to me. They're saying, this is horrible, you're going to sweat like hell, and it's extremely brutal, but if you do it, it works. I'm like, yep, that's probably going to work. I also don't want the result that bad. I don't want to look like that bad, So anyway, if your promotion actually helps them achieve something, their self-confidence goes up. I mean, the guy here who had been living in mom's basement and had never even had a conversation with a girl except for the time they called him stupid in high school or whatever, poorly dressed, ungroomed, he's here, teleconference number 1, all right? Pre-teleconference number 1. By here, Neil said, dude, okay, you need to get a haircut. Like, for the love of God, chicks, as a general rule, do not find Darth Vader costumes attractive. So you might want to put on some different clothes, take a shower, normal stuff that I swear, guys, we just don't think like, what's wrong? Like, how many dudes have ever had your wife or your lady be like, so that's what you're going to wear? All right? Case closed. We don't know what we're doing, right? So it's normal for them. So, but by the time he's here and he's actually said, hey, my name's Jim, and the girl's like, hey, what's up, Jim? How you doing? This is my friend Anna, and this is my other friend. And you're like, that's right. Okay. He's feeling better about himself, right? He can actually see the result because he's gotten a little bit, okay? So their trust in you goes up as well because you're the captain of the boat who has gotten them a little bit across the river already. Does that make sense? So if you look at all of the promotions I do, I will always break everything down to the best of my ability. Sometimes I miss, I'm not superhuman, but to the best of my ability, the promotional materials will help you actually do something and get a small result at the very least. So your self-confidence goes up and you're like, okay, I got this. All right, I get it. And try to make it where it's not a big ethereal concept and break it down into smaller things that are doable. Because I want to help you. It's just simply easy, right? If you help people, they will buy stuff from you because you're the dude that helped them. But the self-confidence thing is another one. So both of these factors increase desire, right? the magnet effect and their self-confidence, you multiply both of those, you're increasing desire. Desire is the big thing, right? How many of y'all have ever done something really dumb that you knew was dumb, but you just had to do it, you really wanted it, and screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway. That's when desire suspends logic. Case in point being almost every exotic automobile purchase in the history of the world. There is no logical reason that buying a Ferrari is a good idea, period, ever. Unless you're like a professional Ferrari driver. They're not going to go up in value. Maybe if you buy one from the 60s or something, but there's no possible way to rationalize it. But the desire is so great that you just don't care, right? So desire is pretty good, but you have to build it. Switch number 3 is new, all right? So there are a few things more appealing to an individual than to get something new. New is very exciting. New fuels desire. Case in point, Apple. Guys, we're coming out with an iPhone. Remember when we had the small iPhones that you didn't want anymore because they had the big one? Now we're coming out with a small one again. Got to have the small one because it's new. Great, okay, might be might be a better phone. I have no idea. But new fuels world commerce. Like, what if cars stopped making new cars? What if they manufactured them every year, but there was really no change in the car, and they didn't say, hey, new model's out? It would tank, right? But they don't really have to change them very much, right? Speaking of cars, let's check these out. Those are all the same car. Only difference is the year models. It's not like the Porsche dealer's like, hey, dude, what's it going to take today, Mr. Kern, to earn your business on this new 911 Turbo? Hang on and let me get my man. They don't have to do that. New Turbo comes out, waiting list for the Turbo, right? New. Always be creating new, okay? Switch number 4 is mystery. You put a cat in a room, shut a door. Cat's going to spend all day trying to get out the damn door. He gets out of the door, shut the door, he's going to spend all day trying to get on the other side of the door because he forgot what was in there. It's mystery, it's curious, So this is why you see things like Jay Abraham's Mr. X book, right? It's a $400 book. That's a lot of money. If it's a good book, but it's worth the $400. So they say. Actually, I've never actually read the whole thing, but that's how powerful indoctrination is, because I just believed it. I was like, it's a good book. I've never read it. I'm going to tell you, I'm just totally bullshitting you right there. I have no idea if it probably is good because everyone else says Jay is good. It must be good. I'm assuming that it's good. I really have no clue. That is how strong good marketing actually is. But it sold $400. That was the first direct response real course that I ever bought. Got it in the mail, a solicitation for it in the mail from Tony Robbins, and therefore proving the power of association and positioning. I was like, well, Tony Robbins says this guy's cool, he's got to be cool, right? Got the book, couldn't read it. No car chases, no pictures, right? It was not written by James Patterson. I'm like, this is terrible. I've had that book like 5 times. Can't get through it. I'm more of a Dan Kennedy, very short sentence guy. I don't respond well to the multi-syllable, big word business. No pictures. Not even a cartoon in that book. All right? The incredible appeal of secret methods still works. I make fun of the secrets thing, right? Because in the quote-unquote internet marketing, if you just put secrets at the end of any activity, you can pretty much have a product about it, and someone will, if they won't buy it, they'll at least promote it obnoxiously. Headline secrets, ampersand secrets, abbreviation secrets, Twitter secrets, Facebook secrets, right? Traffic. He was the first one to do it, right? He actually created a company called Secrets Publishing, LLC, and was going to come out with an entire line of secrets products, and then got sidetracked because that's the way our buddy rolls, right? Secrets is huge, huge. We take it for granted because we see it every 15 seconds in our space. The rest of the world, they don't see it, okay? That's why you see the use of the word weird, strange, controversial, and copy. Curiosity, mystery. Why is this weird? Well, I got to see this. What's going on, right? Strange and mysterious images and banners. So when you go to those clickbait sites now, and it'll show like the weird amoeba-looking thing, and it'll be like this one simple trick to getting no more wrinkles, and you're like, that looks like a freaking alien. What is that? And you have to You click it. You can't help it. Mystery, right? This is the whatever they don't want you to see, the thing they don't want you to see. We're immune to this because it's our first language, because we are, by definition, people who are students of marketing. So it wears off on us. We don't think it's as cool as it really is, right? But the rest of the world, they don't see this stuff every day. They don't live and die by copy and headlines. So the secret thing they don't want you to know works really, really well, not necessarily as a headline, but just as an overarching principle, okay? Here is an example of a Facebook ad that took to working real good. I mean, this is out of a comic book. This is my ad, by the way, for my secret sale. I got the idea from a comic book. You remember which incidentally, y'all ever watch Walking Dead? That show, The Walking Dead? I have seen 2 episodes of The Walking Dead. I have read every single episode of the comic book. I am 12 years old right here. Love it. I got that iComics app on my comic book out, and I'll be on an airplane. I'm like, oh man, don't walk. I'm just getting it ready for my kid. You know, I'm reading Harvard Business Review on this. Let me get my glasses out. Got a blazer, right? So, this unbelievable. They had to click and find out what it was. Had to. This is to promote the Legacy Collection, right? To date, speaking of Legacy Collection, to date, the Legacy Collection has done $985,915 in revenue. Incidentally, it's a 4-day cash machine 2.0 sale. Incidentally, it is one of the campaigns that I use in the machine thingy. All right? Why did it work? It's a bargain. I got people in the door through mystery. What is it going to be? It is a secret sale. What's the secret? What's he going to do? It's a box with a question mark on it. I'm like, they are going to show up and literally point at me and laugh when I run this ad and put a picture of the people are going to drive to my house and be like, you, sir, are an idiot. Explosive response. Because we all saw the box with the question mark as kids in comic books. We're like, what is it going to be? Still works with those things. I don't know what they're called. You get a box of stuff from a different vendor every month. You don't know what's going to be in the box. You ain't buying it for the stuff. You're buying it for the minute you open the box. Ooh, yay. So a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Cracker Jacks. What's going to be in the bottom of the Cracker Jack? Man, I just like the peanuts. So good. All right? So never underestimate the power of a good bargain, okay? 4-day cash machine 2.0. Ridiculously effective. Can't tell you how many times people are like, dude, 4-day cash machine paid for my car. Because I've given it away for free. I taught that campaign for free for years. You can probably Google it if you want to, get the swipe files for it. Switch number 6 is fear. This is going to be fear, or 2 big things we fear, besides death, is fear of loss and embarrassment, AKA shame, all right? Big emotional drivers for people. I don't particularly use it a lot, fear, because I don't like to feel it, and I'm a very empathetic person, so if I conjure up an emotion, I will internalize it and get all weirded out. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work. That's my problem. It has nothing to do with the advertising method, right? So think about this. Right before the year 2000, when the world was definitely going to come to an end because like the programmers didn't program the clock in the computer or whatever, zombie apocalypse supplies explosive. Right? I mean, good Lord, if we had a time machine, we could be selling whatever the heck it was people bought back then. I didn't have enough money to buy anything. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to die. Yeah. Maybe I'll overpower my small and frail neighbor and steal his zombie apocalypse things. You know, I'm not above it. One of the benefits to being a well-fed gentleman. All right, so another case in point. This happens like in the internet marketing community, not the actual community of people who are serious entrepreneurs, but the quote-unquote internet marketing people of just crazy folks. You'll see it happen. FTC will announce a new regulation, and someone will come out with a thing that is supposed to magically protect you from the FTC if you just press a button and put a disclaimer on your site. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. That ain't going to work, by the way. You can't disclaimer your way out of getting in trouble with the FTC. But people get all scared. They're like, oh, man, FTC's watching you. They're going to get you. First of all, they're not. They're not this big evil organization that wants to kill you. You have to make lots of customers really angry to get in trouble with them. And then there's no disclaimers in the world are going to save you ever. So don't buy FTC proofing solutions, comply with regulations. That is how to make your business FTC proof. But perfect, every time comes out, right? So right now, well, I guess a couple years ago, it'll happen again, by the way, probably. I'm not an economist, nor do I give investment advice, nor do I actually invest. So don't listen to me, but I'll bet you $5 that right when the next recession hits, which is going to happen like any second, gold prices will once again shoot right through the roof. Remember a couple of years ago after the bank meltdown, like an ounce of gold was $1 billion or something? I've got a block of silver on my desk. Actually, it's to the right of my desk that I think is something like 8 pounds that I just got. I like to keep symbols of prosperity around me. It keeps my brain tuned to what's available so I don't focus on stupid stuff. But, dude, everything that drove those gold prices up, the gold didn't get any better. Like gold didn't change. It's a metal. It was the perception, which was driven by fear. So you can play on it or not. Personally, I don't do it. Just it's a karmic thing. But I just want to show you what works. I want to give you everything I can. Okay. Right after I said I don't play on it, except for this one time. Except for this one time I played on it. This letter worked incredibly well. I forgot about this. This was sent out to plumbers. This was a cold letter, direct mail, to get them to request marketing consultation phone calls to buy basically a done-for-you advertising service. And it says, bad economy projected to kill 7,164 plumbing businesses in 2010, but free report reveals how some plumbers are having the best year ever. All right? That's mine. See who it is. It is my daughter's friends. Do y'all ever have this? I need an iPhone wizard. I guess my daughter and I are on the same Apple account, so her friends FaceTime me. And I'm like, I don't want to get this, you know? Get out of the shower thinking it's Natalia. Hey, whoa! Next thing you know, jail. I thought it was my wife. The cops are like, she's in the next room. Why would she FaceTime you? Because I'm lazy. This is a big house. That's all the more reason you're a bad person. You know, oh, it's terrible. All the time, and I block them. But then I'm like, but what if it's their parents that need to get me when their kids are here? So neuroses through the roof. All right, so that's an example of using fear as an opener, but then showing a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, switch number 7, is personal gain. Oh, we kind of only do just about everything because of our desire for personal gain, right? Chances are you're not really doing a good enough job of explaining specifically the level of personal gain that your prospect will get from buying your stuff. I am, of course, assuming that they will get a significant amount of personal gain. By the way, personal gain can be based on the feeling they get from performing an act of altruism towards others. It doesn't have to always be about them. So this works really well from a direct response point of view and a bonus stacking situation, all right, which I'm on a lot of lists and not enough stacking of bonuses. So when you use it in conjunction with fear of loss, the effect is compounded. Remember when I drew out the 4-day cash machine for you? And I was like, if you'll start adding bonuses as you get closer to the end of 4-day cash machine, your response will escalate. Because what we're doing is we're compounding fear of loss, I'm going to miss out on the discount, with the light switch of personal gain, which is the extra bonuses. So you can take these switches and flip multiple switches at the same time for a compound effect. Okay. The 8th one is third-party factual data. The entire premise of Info Business Blueprint was supported by third-party factual data, showing stats and stuff. Man, I went out and bought third-party factual data. E-learning business, $107 billion per year business according to Forbes. Business coaching just in the United States alone is a $12.1 billion per year business industry growing at a rate of $816 million. So I still remember this. It's weird. Rain Man up here. Marketing Rain Man. Right? The life coaching business is the second fastest growing industry in the world, according to Life Coaching Institute. It is a $2 billion business, according to IBISWorld. The niche info publishing business, niche how-to business, is growing at a rate of 33% every year, which means it is doubling every 3 years if you go by Privco's financial analysis of ClickBank, whose revenues in 2015 were $485 million. All factual data from third parties. One of the greatest ways that people get authority is to quote factual data from other sources of authority. Like, we look at a news anchor like Dan Rather or something, and Dan Rather is now this authority. I'm sure he's a great guy and everything. The last thing I want to do is like get more on the bad side of media, you know? But dude, we're like, yeah, well, you know, it's Dan Rather. Well, dude, all he's doing is reporting other data sources, right? So reporting third-party factual data can help you establish authority. If you can back up emotion with facts, you're doing pretty good, right? Real good. So a lot of people just try to sell on emotion and story alone. Don't do it. Use third-party data whenever possible. We have a skeptical world. People usually confuse this with using specific numbers, and what I mean by that is a lot of very basic copywriting will say, hey, instead of saying 7,000 plumbing businesses are scheduled to die, say 7,197. That's not what I mean. I mean literally third-party factual data, all right? So, well, that's kind of obvious. The damn phone's going off again. Come on, Savannah. Rotten little child. That was the dumbest. Her father is a big game hunter. So wonderful, enthusiastic child that you are. Brilliant girl. She's actually one of the most well-behaved, nicest children I've ever seen, which makes me nervous. You know what I mean? Because it's like, wait a minute. This isn't right. Something's going on here. She's building a meth lab. A little young for it, but some people start early. They're entrepreneurial. Okay, so let me give you an example of this. Remember that thing? Look at this. I bet y'all, some of y'all were thinking, man, he's just pulling this shit out of his buttocks. Okay? I wasn't. I'm quoting the U.S. Census Bureau right here. U.S. Census Bureau stated that 19.9% of independent plumbing contractors are set to be shut down each year due to a lack of profits and other problems. Where did I get the number from? I went, every time you go the extra mile, you just get 1 mile further, you see. I went to the list size of plumbers in the United States and multiplied it by 19.9% to get that actual number. Make the claim here, scary, woo. Back it up with third-party factual data, whoa. Okay? Big deal. People don't back their stuff up. You got to back it up, man. It makes it better. Okay? Switch number 9 is authority and confidence. This is now your confidence in delivering the message. Confidence breeds authority, like instantly. I can't believe this worked. So when I was 20-something, 22, I don't know. It was back when I was professional at Party. I was, of course, unemployable, which meant I was welcomed into the roofing business. Apparently, you can't be in the roofing business unless you are completely out of your mind. So I go to work for a roofing company, and they're like, you know, you appear to have all of your teeth. None of them are gold, which isn't true. I don't have all of my teeth. I do have a gold one in the bag, and I'm very proud of it. That's where I get my magic powers. But they're like, we want you to sell roofing as a commercial roofing company. And I'm like, all right, man, how do you sell roofing? So I have no idea. But you need to go out there and start getting us jobs, or else you're fired. And this guy was paying me $300 a week, which back then to me was amazing. And the job I had prior to that was digging trenches with a rototiller, which had been modified. So they took the blades off of a rototiller and put a diamond, not studded, but a diamond saw blade on the rototiller, and I would cut trenches into the ground while the wire would be buried in the trench, and that was how you install an underground invisible fence for dogs, which in middle Georgia, A, it's 9 million degrees outside, and B, the ground is as hard as a freaking rock randomly. So when the spinning wheel hits a patch of hard ground, you're jerked out into the air behind this tiller, which has a diamond-studded saw blade spinning in your face. So I was like, this is the greatest job in the world. I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep this job. I'm going to sell me some roofs. What do I need to do? He's like, I don't know. So I said, okay, I got a plan. I got myself a golf t-shirt, because that's dressed up for where I'm from. A little golf shirt, polo had the logo on it. Not too big like you flashy Chris Luck golf shirt fellas. The small conservative polo logo. And a metal clipboard. Did not know a thing about roofing. We were commercial, so I would walk into big shopping centers that are owned by a management company in another state, and I would go to the person working there, like Kmart, with the clipboard, and I'd be doing this. And they say, "Can I help you?" I'd say, "Yeah, hang on, give me just a minute." I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. You've got water coming in here. Might be a single leak. You never know. I had no idea. It's a truthful statement. But it's going to be needing some repair here, because if these things fall on people, you're probably going to get sued, or it's not going to be good. What's the name of the property management company here? I need to give them a call. Hang on a minute. Misty, there's a guy here with a metal clipboard, and he said something about the roof, and who do we call? Gives me the card. I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have the money for the giant 75-pound cell phone that came in the bag, because that's how long ago it was. So I go back to the office. Mr. Jones, please. It's Frank Kern, Hamilton Company Roofing. Yeah, we're here in Macon. I was just at your place. We were doing a spot inspection. You got about 6 places where there's water coming into the roof. You got some ceiling tiles. I can send you some Polaroids of it. I mean, there ain't any emailing. I can send you some Polaroids of it if you want me to. We just need to go ahead and get it fixed, because those tiles are going to fall on somebody, and they're going to get hurt, and you're probably going to get sued. Okay, how much is it going to cost? Hang on a minute. What do I say? Tell them $5,000. It's going to be about $5,000. We can probably be out there this weekend. Great, do it. Send me a work order. Literally easiest sale I've ever made in my life. Now, it wasn't because I got in the door with the metal clipboard, but B, nobody would go and just fix the damn roof. I don't know if you guys have ever owned property or had to deal with like services or whatever, but they couldn't believe that someone was proactively calling to actually fix a problem for them. Probably could have charged extra. The property manager doesn't care, it ain't his money, right? Clipboard. No clue what I was doing. We did a good job, though. Fixed the roofs, and no ceiling tiles fell. So it sounds like shenanigans, but it's not. They had a problem. I had a clipboard. I just literally carried it because I thought it looked cool. Asked them for the number, called them up. Don't make me say, you want me to send the Polaroids to you in a clipboard? And they never even saw the place. And sometimes the company needed money so bad they would send me, drive 3 hours to get the check. And I'd have to show them Polaroids before and after, to show them we really did the work, which we did. Joyous work, very easy job. So much easier than typing into a keyboard in an air-conditioned environment, let me tell you. So I feel your pain when you say this is a lot of work. Okay, so Donald Trump, perfect. I love that he wants to make me personally pay less taxes in theory, but my man has convinced people that it is a good idea to build, is it a 16-foot tall wall? Let's just forget about the cultural implications of this, right? A 16-foot tall wall to span an entire border between nations. And we've got hundreds of people, yeah! All right, who cares what country it is? Let's just say it's just a wall in general. Man, we can't even fix the potholes in Southern California. And homie's got people, we're going to build that wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. Why are they buying this story? Because he says it with confidence. So that guy's amazingly confident into the camera. I'll tell you who else is amazing at it. It's John Reese. You ever see John Reese speak publicly? You will do whatever this guy tells you to. And he's like, if you don't do this, here's how it's going to be. Here's the new reality of your situation. Man, he could be talking about cooking, and you're like, I've got to stop using Teflon immediately. It's just personal confidence. So if you can build it up, and maybe just yell. I don't know, maybe yelling works. I don't know, I've never really tried it. It'll work really, really well. People respect authority to the point. I know you all know it. I can't remember the name of the test. But you remember the thing where there was a psychological test, and they did it on students, and they were like, hey, I'm going to need you to shock this person every time they give an incorrect answer. And the people would kill them. They would administer, now it wasn't real. They thought it was real. They'd have an actor screaming in the next room. They would administer fatal electric shocks to people because the person in the white coat told them to do it. Another classic example is a financial services firm. I don't know which one it is, which means it's bad marketing. But they take a bunch of like hippies and DJs and stuff off the street, cut their hair, and then like put them in front of rich people and give rich people investment advice. And the rich person's about to do something, and they come in, they're like, hey, just to let you know, this guy isn't a financial advisor at all. Actually, here's a picture of him yesterday. He's a DJ. He had dreadlocks. He was super blasted. And they're like, you've got to be kidding me. And the whole premise is just because they're fancy don't mean they know what they're doing. Call us, we're better. Almost hit it. You know what I mean? Almost got that mark there. But people, authority, right? He was dressed like someone. He confidently spoke about whatever, mutual funds and stuff, because someone said, here's what to say. He had a clipboard. It was gold. Should start giving out metal clipboards. Switch number 10 is significance, okay? This is why almost every exotic automobile sale is made. This is why almost every private airplane, so that's not true. It's actually flying commercially is horrible. But exotic automobile, big yacht. Ain't nobody need a giant $1.5 billion yacht. I saw one in Mexico, and just the fee to park the thing was like 30 grand a day or something. And it was like a dude who's got a helicopter on the yacht. Now, he's not like, I just get seasick, I need a more stable vessel. It was a display of size of feet and hands, right? There is no logical reason for anyone in the world to have an American Express black card. It's $4 grand or something a year to get the card. There's no point. Here's $4 grand so I can have a titanium credit card. Unless you want to use it to chop up cocaine with, which hypothetically speaking, it might be good for that. But other than that, totally stupid to have. But you have to work to get the black card. I got one, man, I've had mine since 2004, and I deliberately bought everything with American Express for a year because if you couldn't even be considered to get one unless you spent $250,000 on Amex in a year. So I'd put all my ads on there, and so like, oh, I'm freaking out. Finally, like it's 200. I'm looking at my statement. You have spent $250,000.03 between January 1st and December 28th of this year. Like immediately, I'm here for my black card. Give me my black card. How would I send you the $4 grand so I get the black card? I wanted it because Reese didn't have one, and he had a Ferrari first. Whole mental decision of why I should have an American Express black card. Because I wanted to defeat John's significance. It's look at me, I'm better, right? He still doesn't have one because he's got more sense than that, all right? He's really got more financial intelligence than I do because it's so dumb. But now I keep mine because the corporate name, I swear to God, is it true? The corporate name on the card is Penn Island Inc., which of course is Penis Land if you just rearrange the spacing in the letters. So I have to keep it. I really have a holding company, which is a marketing management company that does my other stuff. It's called Penn Island. Thank you. I did that in case I ever get sued. I'm like, if you ever sue me, you're going to have to say Penn Island in court, knowing that you're really saying Penis Land. So at least I will be destitute in a spider hole, and they'll be stabbing me with the spears. You evil advertiser. But I may just say Penis Land. When I went to one Tony Robbins seminar, my very first one, it was Awaken. What's the thing that you do? The Unleash the Power with an unbelievable event. Really, really good event. I'm there. He's like, you can join Mastery University for $10,000, which to me was like $75 billion. And I'm like, if I do this, I will have like 73 cents to my name because I think I had $10,000 and 73 cents. And I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I ain't going to do it. And then he's like, and when you join, you can have this Mastery University hat, and right after you enroll, I want you to come right up here on the stage, shake hands with me, meet Sage, and then get the hell off the stage. I'm like, sold, because I get my picture made with Tony. And Tony's like this, and I get the hat. So for the last day of Unleash the Power Within, I'm like, Mastery, no financial sense whatsoever. Desperate need of this information right here. That's how you know, right? That's how you know you need it when you bought it. It was a good program, of course. I'm teasing, but that's why I bought it. The pitch was masterful. I didn't buy going to more seminars. I get my picture made with Tony, and I get to be on stage because I'd just seen Tony on stage. I get that significance, and I get the hat. Dude, I mean, whatever. What's a high-end? The damn Suit Shack story. Tom Ford suit, Suit Shack suit. I cannot tell the difference, man. I spent $4,000. Perry spent $400. Perry smarter than me. I bought the significance, right? I ain't going back. I was told Natalia that story last night. I was like, man, I ain't going because we're going to Vegas tomorrow. She's like, you gonna go to Tom Ford? I'm going to Suit Shack. I'd rather have the damn money. I can't tell the difference. I'll just take the Tom Ford label off one. I'll have like Velcro. And I'll just Velcro it in there and anyone going to know. I don't care.
Where is Suit Shack?
It's called Suit Supply, and it's in Caesars, in the mall thing there. So you have to leave the bubble of affluence a little bit to get there, but it's where you'll be more affluent as a result. No, but there's more. I was at War Room last month, and there's a dude there. I'm blanking on the guy's name. A real nice guy. It's really embarrassing. I don't remember his name because he's like, hey, there's a special dinner in New York, and it's with me and the CEO of Ogilvy One, which is Ogilvy's direct response division, and I'd like you to attend. There's going to be me and about 7 other people and you. And I'm like, that's great. Can you make it? I'm like, of course, freaking walk there. Of course, I'm a huge David Ogilvy fan. I mean, I think the guy was brilliant. So I'm like, yeah, I'll walk there. So or emailing back and forth. I'm like, hey, dude, where'd you get that blazer? So we had this beautiful pale gray blazer. I used to have a custom pale gray suit that I had made that shrank. Weird. So I've been looking for another suit. So I'm like, where'd you get that blazer, man? Because I'm looking for a pale gray suit. You know, mine shrank. He's like, I got the greatest place in the world, man. Suit Supply. I'm like, God. I was on Savile Row in London, and I'm at I guess it's 1 Savile Row, I can't remember, but I'm like I'm at the end of Savile Row, and I look over, Suit Shack. Right there. $10,000 here, $400 there, same suit. I took a picture of myself outside of it and sent it to Perry with the finger. I was like, you've ruined everything for me, Perry. Thank you very much. Switch number 11 is inclusion. We love to join things. We all want to be part of the cool crowd, except me. I'm just too cool for it. I'm above it all, said nobody ever, right? We are joiners. We would rather be members than customers. Dan Kennedy taught us this, you know. GKIC doesn't have subscribers. You're a member of Dan Kennedy's newsletter. No, you're not, dude. You're a subscriber. You pay money. They send you stuff in the mail. That is how the subscription model works. But we prefer to be members, right? I tell you from experience, you don't join the country club for the food, okay? At least not here. My gosh, the one I'm a member of is the worst food ever. I joined it so I could drive my son around on the golf courses behind my house, but we've moved and now I never go. And I'm like, what the hell did I spend $125 grand to join this stupid thing for? I don't even know these guys. I'm not nearly self-absorbed enough to be a member of this thing. But that's why you join, right? Because you want to be part of something. Well, I'm going to meet all these. The CEO of American Express is a member here. I'm thinking in my mind, we're going to be golfing every day. Never seen him, You join it for the inclusion. So, here's a classic example. This is taken from my inbox this week. I subscribe to and really enjoy Prager University. They have great videos on YouTube. Even if you completely disagree with the viewpoint, it is very valuable education in logically presenting a viewpoint on video. So if you just go to PragerU, P-A-R, dang it, dyslexia. Dennis Prager, yeah, P-R-A-G-E-R. So I get an email from the Prager University, and they're like, first of all, clueless about how to sell stuff because it's 7 minutes before the event, and I've been a subscriber forever. And they're like, hey, we have this event, you can come, and it's $1,000 or whatever, and if you want to, you can sponsor it. This is a mass email, it's not to me personally. And here's what you get for your 25 grand. This is hard to read. Friday night's dinner, this one. Friday night's dinner, which you can sponsor, will be a celebratory meal led by Dennis, this is Dennis Prager, the lead dude, kicking off the summit and ushering in a day of rest prescribed in the 10 Commandments. The sponsor of this dinner will sit at Dennis Prager's table. $25,000. What's selling it? Inclusion. You want to be included in the inner circle, because who else is going to be at Dennis Prager's table? It might be the greatest dinner in the world. I don't know. Maybe you get gold leaf stuff. But this has been a sales lever, psychological light switch forever, and it always will be, okay? Switch number 12, exclusivity, all right? In order to buy this is happening right now. Ford just came out with a new GT, that's their race car, cool looking car. And in order to buy one, you have to apply to Ford Motor Company directly just to get one. What does this do to the desire of the car? Just hockey puck. I mean, now it used to be, there's some dealerships like a limited edition car or whatever, and with Ferrari, for example, like a new car comes out and they give preference and priority to a previous owner and all this stuff. This takes it to a whole new level. You have to submit an application to Ford Motor Company, tell them why you want it. They give preference to people who have already had it, tell them what you intend to do with it. If you are approved, they tell you what dealer you can buy it from. It's not even you go and choose one and then it's like, okay, you're going to buy the one from Eddie in Iowa. I don't want to go to Iowa. Well, congratulations, sir. You no longer get the GT. Dude, it's a Ford, man. It's not even like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. It's a Ford, which is a fine product, by the way. I drive an F-150. Love it. Love it. You know why? You can take a 24-ounce Coors Light can and put it right there in the cup holder. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world, because a 24-ounce can of Coors Light is technically, it's a beer. I ain't had but 3. I learned that in my South Georgia MBA training. All right. There's a really cool organization called Bronze Buffalo Club that's led by these brothers, Justin and Jody Hyde, and also Randy Garn and a bunch of other dudes. And you can't get in this thing unless someone who is a member recommends you, and then the recommendation is received and is presented to the board, and then you get an invitation. Other than that, no possible way of joining the thing. 25 grand, line out the door. Take new members like once or twice a year, most. People will join just based on that. And also, what does it fuel? Mystery. What in the world are they doing in there, right? I learned this another way. I went to Los Angeles. It was the night before something called the Players Run. This is this drunken psychosis of a road race between Los Angeles and Denver years ago. I did it in a lime green Lotus convertible. Man my size has no business in a Lotus for 4 days. Terrible. But I meet up with Neil, and this is Neil Strauss, and he was dating the girl who was the guitar player or something for the band Hole. It was a really cool girl. I forgot her name. But so she's taking us around all the cool places, all right? And we go to like super cool place number 1, pretty big place, line out the door, get in. She's like, this place sucks, let's go somewhere cooler. I'm like, all right, man. Super cool place number 2, a little bit smaller. We finally ending up at this place called Hyde, which back then was like a really big deal club in Los Angeles, line just out the door to get in the place. Finally get in. It is like 1/4 the size of this place, tiny, right? More exclusive, smaller, more exclusive, higher. It was like $100 or something just to get in there. A drink was like $50, so they spit in it, The funniest thing is, I'm sitting at the table. I just spent all this money on alcohol just because I wanted to see what it was like to drink, test it, And I'm sitting there, and huh? Sir, we're going to have to ask you to get up. This is Justin Timberlake's table. I'm like, oh. Great. Inclusion. Now I get to go home and be like, I was at the same place as Justin Timberlake. Had a line out the door, paid extra for a drink, didn't get to drink it, had to get up. Greatest night of my life. Wonderful. I said, I'm not going to get up. I challenge you to a dance-off right now, Justin Timberlake. And he was like, no, man, we cool. I was like, all right, no, it's cool. So you sit down, man. You got this. But it was crazy. And so I developed this theory that the most profitable nightclub in Los Angeles is actually a closet. You sit in there by yourself in the dark. And it's $10,000 to get in. And there's like this huge line around the door. They euthanize you. So those are your 12 psychological light switches that can drive buying behavior. I got more for you. You need a break? You want to keep rolling? Well, thank you for the conflicting advice. This is kind of, I feel like I'm talking to one of my daughters right now. What do you want to eat? Steak? Nothing? I hate you? Oh. Okay, then. Well, let's take 10. Can we take 10? Keep it snappy? Keep working? All right, let's go. Take 10. That means 1-0.